Hey, what's up guys, Mashine here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be looking at the December case unboxing charts, going over it a little bit, seeing how it compared to November, and we've got some pretty decent sized increases when the overall total of cases roughly stayed the same. And we had 18 million unboxed in November and 18.9 in December. So there's definitely not a huge gap there, but some of these cases are going up a pretty significant percent. But before we hop on into it, if you guys are looking to pick up any CSGO skins, I've got a couple links in the description. Let's hop on into it. First up, we gotta explain how we're doing this. So I am just going to be showing you an image with both of the charts here. I'm then going to be talking about the percent increase from November to December. What's very important about this is these are all rough estimates. These are not exact numbers. These are calculated using a little bit of a formula that's definitely specific. However, it's nowhere specific enough to go ahead and use these numbers as concrete evidence. We've seen in past months that sometimes it can be way off just because of how float.db does some things. With that all being said though, when you move into the more opened case, it gets a lot closer compared to the cases that only have thousands unboxed. When we look at 500,000 and above, or even 150,000 and above, it's going to be definitely a bit more specific and close to that overall number than when we're at the super low amounts. As we're going to talk about here, there's one glaring example that we'll get to in a little bit, but let's hop on into it. First up here, starting way at the left of the graph, we're seeing a large increase in these expensive cases. Now, expensive cases is definitely a relative term. What is expensive for me may not be expensive for you. However, when we're looking at the top 10 most expensive CSGO cases, and more specifically the older ones that are definitely more expensive, we're seeing a large increase in opening. We've got the Bravo up 58% in their openings, the Weapon 3 up 60% in their openings, and that's very significant considering we now have 5 cases that are under 1,000 listed on the market. These are the cases that usually can run up in price very quickly, and that's definitely something you should be looking out for and potentially adding to your radar if you have a little bit of a higher budget here. These are usually a bit more safe, definitely when you're looking at something like the Bravo case. If you can get in for a good price with only 600 on the market, you're definitely not going to be losing out very quickly. The price isn't going to instantly crash because there's a lot of demand for this case and very little supply. As we move a little bit more to the right, we've got our Phoenix and Breakout, both very popular cases coming into the current situation where we're at now, where we're starting to get back that case hype, and it's definitely good to see. Surprisingly, Phoenix only up 15%, but the Breakout is up a whopping 36%, which is absolutely crazy considering there was not a ton of supply for these cases left. We're starting to dwindle down quite a fair bit here. We're under 50,000 for these and sitting at roughly $2.50. There's definitely a possibility that we could see a squeeze like we saw in the glove case last year where that price absolutely skyrocketed once again. However, then we've got our biggest gainer. Now this one's a big surprise to me because I didn't even think this case was very good. I'm not a big fan of this case even. It's the Chroma 2, up 74%. 74% is an insane amount. That's almost doubled. And the Chroma 2, personally, it's not one of my favorite cases. I don't enjoy it very much. I think the skins inside of it are subpar. The only thing about it is it's got those Chroma knives, but you can find those in the Chroma 3. And speaking of Chroma 3, it was up 22% as well. So the Chromas, at least 2 and 3, are definitely up a fair bit here. Now personally, I've talked a fair bit about the Spectrum 2 case, and the Spectrum 2 case definitely did go up, but not as significantly as all the other ones. It went up less than 10%, not a crazy amount, but it's good to see that the demand is still there for the Spectrum 2 case, especially when we've got this riptide coming in, and that's going to be the biggest competitor for the Spectrum 2 case. As long as it's still increasing, I'm still confident. After that, we've got my favorite case, which is the Shattered Web case, one of the favorites. Finally starting to see some action in price, and boy am I happy. If you don't know, I've got a ton of these Shattered Web cases. They are honestly a case I think has a lot of value moving forward. I think the op containment breach is honestly one of the really good looking ops that's not super expensive. I mean, you can get a field tested one for under the price of the Asimov, and I think it looks much better than the Asimov here. Overall though, definitely starting to see the supply go down on these as well. We've cracked under 20,000 on the market, and there's definitely always going to be less and less of these cases out there since they are discontinued. Finally, for all of my CS20 investors out there, which I personally am a little bit, CS20 was up 40%, which is great numbers for those CS20 investors. However, there is still a long path to go for this case to be even worth 50 cents. There's a lot of hype around this case, but still not a ton of opening demand. And then we have the reason we cannot fully trust these numbers, and that's going to be the Vanguard case. Now, the Vanguard case is really interesting because it's up a whopping 400%. Or at least that's what the table claims. Now, this is why we cannot fully trust it, because these numbers are very, very rough estimates. We can see here that the Vanguard case is clearly not up 400%. That's an absolutely crazy amount of numbers, and there's no possible way we could see that happening. So there's definitely a reason there that you should not be fully trusting these numbers. However, they're good to give you rough estimates. We also then want to talk about our 4 biggest losers, because we always got to include the losers when we got the winners here. First up, Riptide case coming in at -8%. This isn't terrible, especially for the newest, most popular case. I do want to point out that it's only 8%, but that's still 250,000 cases. Now, I don't think this is anything bad, anything to worry about if you're invested into the Riptide case or not. This is just common active drop pool case things. After that, we've got quite a shocker coming in with the glove case at -16% here. This one is very interesting just because we've seen the glove case among the breakout case being one of the biggest growth getters so far in 2022. However, this can just be attributed to a lot of investment purposes and it actually being one of the worst cases to open right now for your return on investment. It's absolutely one of the worst cases, and you should definitely avoid it if you're looking to open some up. After that, we've got the esports summer case, which once again, we're getting into those small, minute numbers here. It's down 33%, not a huge big deal here. That's a small number, 33% decrease, but that's could possibly be like 4 or 5 skins. So it's very hard to trust these numbers. Same with the Hydra case. Hydra case is our biggest loser from November to December here, coming in at -36%. But once again, small numbers, it's hard to trust it. If you're looking for some big numbers, which also had big percentage drops, your biggest one's the glove case here, which is down 16%. Not a ton of decreases in the amount of cases opened from last month to this month, but we've definitely got a lot of growth, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this compares to the next month, how December compares to January, because it's going to be really interesting now that we've got all this case hype coming back. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Drop down in the comments if you guys are looking to pick up any specific case and how your cases overall are doing. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.